Modern responsive tutorials. Number 11, mRNA. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Modern Responsive Tutorials, where I teach responsive counterweight tricks. This one is called mRNA, and it looks like this, with this little bonus at the end. So mRNA is a variation of DNA. DNA is that, the kind of finger spin trick where usually it's not done from a pull start. Usually people who are doing DNA, they're, throwing their yo-yo sideways and catching it. It's kind of a little easier to do, I think, with the unresponsive yo-yo. And obviously we're using a very responsive or modern responsive yo-yo. So mRNA looks like this. It's going to start with a breakaway throw. So I'm going to throw out to my side and I'm going to catch it. But when I catch it, I'm going to catch it the way I call it palm down catch. So basically, we normally catch with our thumb lining up with the yo-yo. When you throw a breakaway, usually you throw sideways and your thumb is up, pointing up and catching. What we're going to do here is actually catch it this way, just a slight change, but we're going to catch it on the sides. And there's a reason for that. What we want to do is we want to catch it palm down with our fingers on each side so that we can release the yo-yo. And then we got this little claw here. So we've got these finger spin cups on the platypus. That's what I'm using. If you don't have finger spin cups, you can do a claw grind on the inner rims and that'll still work. It's going to be a lot easier though if you have little finger spin divots. A lot of yo-yos, the red blood cell and many others have really good divots on them. So we are kind of holding on to those. So again, breakaway, catch with the palm down, and my thumb is on one side and my pointer finger's on the other side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the counterweight, but the way I'm going to release it is to land it on my other hand. So I can do kind of a pull. Now, we've covered kind of a move like this before. There's a couple subtleties with the way I like to catch it. So first off, when you're doing this, you could just toss it or just drop it and pull, right? You could, but that's not quite as cool as the way I'm going to show you, which is going to look like this. We're going to do that palm down catch. We're going to do that release, but when we do that release, we're going to go around and on top of my other hand. So my throw hand is going to go basically here, right under my free hand, and it's going to toss that counterweight. So that's going to go palm down, catch, and then once you're here, you're going to start that pull start. But what I like to do is do the pull start with the yo-yo already horizontal, because that's where we want the yo-yo to be. So I'm going to go here. Now I'm going to transfer to this plane, right? So I just went like this. And once I'm horizontal, this free hand is going to go out. It's going to go this way, and then it's going to go up. And when I go up, my goal is to be right above the yo-yo or like really close to it. So I'm going to pull and transfer up. Now, when you're first working on that, there's, all sorts of different ways you can do it. My goal, like I said, is to go slightly out and then very quickly upward. But when you're first starting, you might find it easier to do all the way out and then try to quickly bring your hand over. I think it's a little easier though if you can get this kind of pull up. When you're going up, you're still pulling the yo-yo. And then I stop the yo-yo with my thumb. So I am kind of my free hand's on over my throw hand. And I just kind of put my thumb on top, change back to this position, bring the yo-yo back up. So I'm just rotating it from here. I'm bending it up. And then I'm going to just kind of lightly toss it to my side and then regenerate it into a stall while still holding on to this counterweight. This whole time, the counterweight is in my free hand. So I'm going to go out, catch. So stop the yo-yo, pull up, toss, bring it back. Now, when I'm in this stall, again, my thumb the whole time has been holding on to this counterweight. So when I'm in this position, I'm basically in a trapeze, except my counterweight is being held in my free hand. So it sort of looks like a brother hold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thumb that's holding the counterweight, and I'm just going to let the counterweight fall. And when I do that, I'm going to let it continue in that motion and do a full circle over my other hand. And at that point, you're basically kind of doing something similar to the pullover, the toss over. but we're going to do it from basically a trapeze stall, a brother stall. So it's going to be here. I'm going to pinch, if you want, pinch with your throw hand, just to kind of keep that steady. And it's going to go over my other hand. And then I follow with a pullover. So all together, we've got a trick that looks like this. And it's called mRNA, Modern Responsive Version of DNA. Huge shout out to Cypher, who named this trick. I ran a contest over on patreon.com/DocPop. I had a name this trick contest, and Cypher came up with that name. There's a bunch of great names. Pulled pork was one, tractor beam was another, which turns out there's another trick I found 11 years ago called tractor beam, so I didn't go with that. So Cypher wins a platypus for naming this, and now everybody knows the trick is called mRNA, and it's not that hard. It's a fun trick. It's a fun fidgety trick to kind of do while you're just kind of like chilling out, not thinking. You can even do this trick while you're sitting. Now, the platypus does have these little finger spin cups. It's a great yo-yo to get started with for the style of play. There's a bunch of other great yo-yos out there, though, that work. So whatever works, works. If you have any questions or requests for future episodes of responsive counterweight tricks, please let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Remember, you can get a platypus from drpopular.com or Spin Gear or Yo-Yo Expert. There's a few places that have it. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Modern responsive tutorials. Number 11. mRNA.
Number 11.